Hi, welcome to Lightspeed Academy. I'm Jim Cooper, and thanks for joining me for this Lightspeed session on conditional rendering with React. Often we need content on our web pages to only be visible in certain circumstances. This is where conditional rendering comes in. Right now, our cart looks a little funny when there are no items in the cart. Let's change this so that it displays a message when the cart is empty. We can display that message by adding a span here that displays the message there are no items in your cart. And if we go check that out, perfect. We can now see that this shows up in our cart. But the problem is that if I add any items to the cart, that message still remains saying there are no items in your cart, even though there clearly are. So what we want to do is only show this message when this cart array has no items in it. The most straightforward way to do that would be to simply just add an if statement here that says if cart.length equals 0, then display that message. But we can't use an if statement like this in JSX. So there are a couple other options that we can use. First of all, I can use a ternary statement like this. So if the cart length is 0, then display this span, otherwise display null. So this does work. If we go check that out and refresh our page, okay, we have no items in our cart, and then if I click add to cart, there we go, the message is gone and we have an item in our cart. So this is working perfect. So that's using a ternary to decide whether or not to display this message. And I could display something other than null here, so I could display one element if the cart length is 0, and another element if the length is non-zero. And if we're going to use null, there's actually a little different syntax that we could use. So we can use a double ampersand here, and then get rid of this :null. With this syntax, the portion after the double ampersand only gets evaluated and rendered if the portion before the ampersand is true. And if it's false, then it will just render the Boolean false, which actually doesn't get rendered in JSX. So in effect, we get nothing or our span. Okay, now the last way that we could do this is using an element variable up here. So I'm going to declare a new empty cart message variable. And then if the cart length is equal to 0, then I'm going to set the empty cart message equal to this span, like this. And now I can just render that element variable down here. So those are the different ways that you can conditionally render content. And if we take a look, we can see that this is working great now too. If you want to keep going, here is the next video on routing and navigation in React. And here is the entire Lightspeed React playlist. And of course, please like and subscribe if you'd like to see the other content we're putting together. And thanks, and keep learning at Lightspeed.